This is not the man I met. He is egotistical. He disrespects me.
This entire marriage has been forced upon me.
When you don't have trust, when you don't have that foundation, the relationship is over before it starts.
I'm at my breaking point. He has a problem with spending.
You have champagne taste on a soda water budget.
Yes,
What's
honey.
going on?
Come on, champagne taste. It's about the taste, not about the budget.
I can't trust him anymore. The man that I married would never have done that.
I'm not going to advise her to try to make this work because I think it's dangerous. I think it's gone beyond that. Here is today's case.
After 17 years of marriage, he says he can no longer take his wife's serial cheating and verbal abuse. She says her husband's obsession with porn and not contributing financially has grown into resentment. Can they save their marriage? That's today's case on Divorce Court.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, our virtual audience is filled with your superfans. Today's superfan of the day is Veronica from Nottingham, Maryland.
Veronica, welcome to Divorce Court. We're so happy to have you with us.
Your Honor, this is the case of Quinn versus Quinn.
Thank you, Juan. Mr. Steve Quinn.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have brought your wife, Miss Shirley Quinn,
Yes, Your Honor.
to divorce court today. The two of you have been married for 17 years.
Yes.
But you say you're ready for a divorce now.
Yeah.
And you're going to explain to me all the reasons why you believe this marriage can no longer go on.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss Quinn, you brought a witness with you to court today.
Yes, Your Honor.
On your behalf, Mr. Charlie Smoot.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smoot, I understand that you're here. You don't want to testify today, but you're here for moral support.
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. But I'll start with you, Mr. Quinn. It has been 17 years.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a long time. How'd the two of you meet? And what brought you here to divorce court at this point?
We met at a singles website. And
On a singles website?
Yeah. She emailed me. We talked over the phone a few months. And we got together, and then a few months later, I moved in with her. And
So you saw his profile picture and you liked what you saw?
Oh, yeah, I liked what I saw right away. It was very nice picture he had on there, and I thought, hey, you got a connection here.
So you swiped right.
Yes.
And Mr. Quinn, you said she reached out to you.
yeah,
You started talking, and how did the conversation go?
it went well. We started talking over the phone, by email first, and then over the phone, and then we got together. She wanted to wait a little while before we got in person, but then once we did, we kind of hit it off.
How long was it before you got married after the two of you met?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Why are you here today, Mr. Quinn, in divorce court?
Well, she is a very emotional abuser. She has become a serial cheater and has poor communication skills and just mean and thoughtless all the time, just doing cruel things.
What do you have to say about that, Miss Quinn?
Yes, Your Honor. He's got a lot of nerve talking because, I mean, he's called me dumb Mexican. He's called me the C word. He's called me the B word in public and in private. He's the most disrespectful person I've ever been around in my entire life. He has no respect for women whatsoever, and I mean none and stuff. And not only me, like people he's worked for on the job. He's told one of his previous supervisors, you know, close your mouth and open your ears up and listen. This was a woman. So it's just, yeah, he can't keep a job because he can't keep his mouth shut. And especially if it's a woman boss, forget it. There's no chance he's ever going to keep the job because he has absolutely no respect for women whatsoever.
Well, Mr. Quinn, that's a lot that Miss Quinn just stated in court today, but you say she's the one that's the emotional abuser?
She is completely wrong on all this stuff. I have a lot of respect for people in general, and for women. I do my best to apply the golden rule and treat others the way I want to be treated. And I do want to be treated with respect, and I hope for respect.
Do you say
in
she's
return.
calling you names too?
Oh, yeah.
What does she call you?
She's calling me, boy, it's too many to name.
Give me an example of what you say is the disrespect that has occurred in your marriage.
Well, she'll do things to really, really piss me off and just rile me up, get under my skin, and anger me. She treats me like I'm crazy, and then she acts like,
Your Honor?
no matter what I say,
Give me
I'm
one
wrong.
example, sir, of what you say. You said there's verbal abuse on you. Do you call her names as well?
I have,
Yes,
in
many
anger
times.
back, yeah, I've responded and reacted instead of responding.
All the time.
But you're saying she's starting it?
And
No,
she
he starts it a lot.
No, actually should.
So there's name calling on both sides.
Yeah, she's
But
projecting.
he
that
always
onto
starts
me.
it. He starts it. For example, let me tell you. Okay, he has issues with the TV volume, yet he refused to get up and lower the volume. But when I lower it, it's never low enough for him. So if he doesn't get his way, he'll curse you up one side, the other, and he doesn't stop.
That's not
Even if I
true.
attempt to leave the apartment, he's cursing me as I'm leaving outside the door. And I mean, horrible, awful names. And I'm like trying to escape from him, and he's like a predator. He won't, he latches onto you, and once he latches onto you, if you make him mad for any reason, doesn't matter what it is, he'll curse you one side. Even when we went to church one time, I had to leave him behind because he was running late constantly. And so I left him behind, and he's on the bus, he gets off the bus, I'm in the church parking lot, he's cursing me out in the front of the church parking lot too. I mean, he's
Well, Mr. Quinn, were you cursing her out at the house of the Lord?
She's got this all twisted. She's projecting onto me the abuse she does to me.
Oh, and he called me a stupid Mexican too.
That happened at church? All that happened
One
at
time
church?
happened at church, she was yelling at me and being abusive.
One of many occasions.
So, because, listen, so the two of you have arguments where you call each other out of their name. Obviously, it's not about the volume on the TV. It's about something else that the two of you are dealing with.
Well, on our 3rd anniversary, go ahead and maybe go to Disneyland too, because I worked there and I had a couple passes. We got into the park up to the Central Hub, and she's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm leaving. She just left me.
No, because...
And why do you say she cheated?
Because she went down to see an ex-boyfriend out in Orange County.
Is it true that you left and hooked up with an ex that day?
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm pushing this man around. I'm like, you know, I can't take it no more. I want a real man.
You said that she's a serial cheater. Can you give me an example of what you mean by that?
Well, on our 3rd anniversary, we had like a gift card for Holiday Inn. We were going to stay at Holiday Inn, and I figured, well, let's do that. Let's go ahead and maybe go to Disneyland too, because I worked there and I had a couple passes. We got over there, and she was like saying, I don't want to be here, but she really willingly went along with it. We got into the park up to the Central Hub, and she's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm leaving. She just left me.
No, because...
And why do you say she cheated?
Because she went down to see an ex-boyfriend out in Orange County.
On your 3rd anniversary?
On our 3rd anniversary.
Because he had me pushing his heavy ass around in a wheelchair at the park, okay? It was a super hot day that day, okay? I'm not in the best physical shape either. And the man had me on our 3rd anniversary pushing up an incline hill to push him around, didn't attempt to walk, which, you know, he could use some exercise, okay? And I'm pushing this man around. I'm like, you know, I can't take it no more. I want a real man.
So you're upset.
Very upset.
On your 3rd anniversary because he's not walking at the theme park.
That was part of it. I wasn't exactly wanting to go to Disneyland, but I thought I would go anyway. But yeah,
I thought Disney was supposed to be the happiest place on earth.
It was. But you know, when you're pushing someone around, and I felt like he could put more effort into walking. And I'm like, I regret the cheating. It wasn't the best decision on my part either. But I feel like, I can't take it anymore. I mean, I'm pushing him around in a wheelchair when I'm supposed to be having a good time here, and he could make some effort to walk. And I'm like, here. Am I really here pushing a man in a wheelchair?
Well, Miss Quinn, did you know before you went to Disney that you have arthritis, sir?
I have arthritis in my hips, back, neck.
So did you know before you went to Disney that it was going to be likely that he wasn't going to be able to walk long distances all day?
Yes, but I just didn't expect to be pushing him around like that.
So this happens at Disney.
Yeah.
You get a wheelchair, you start pushing him around, you get upset. Is it true that you left and hooked up with an ex that day?
Yeah, because I'm like, I want a real man, and I'm like, I'm tired. I mean, I just...
What happened to those vows the two of you took when you said that you would be with someone in sickness and in health? So that day he's sick. And you left just like that and hooked up with somebody else who you say is a real man simply because he has arthritis and can't walk around Disney?
It was a number. He got too sick, and it was just a chronic problems with him all the time. I mean, his immaturity, his porn problem. He couldn't provide for me financially. I mean, and even in the things that he could provide for me, there was things that he could do for me. I was just tired and fed up of everything. It was just a bunch of things compiled.
By the 3rd anniversary? So much so that you left and hooked up with somebody else on your 3rd anniversary.
And I regret it, but
I got the chair for both of us because she has problems too. Plenty of problems.
There was someone that was brought to your home?
And we met this guy, and she brought him home.
They were having an affair in your home while you're there?
I don't know what happened because she kicked me out of the room and wouldn't let me come back in.
You invite this man into your bedroom and you ask your husband to leave?
Yes.
Okay, did you sleep with him?
Yes.
Okay, I think we have some problems. If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. A few years ago, there was someone that was brought to your home?
She took off for Vegas. She came back, and we met this guy, and she brought him home. She wanted to mess around with him and told me to sleep downstairs, and I was like, what are you doing? That's not right. Don't do that. And
So she brought somebody back from Vegas?
She brought somebody back that she met at the bus station when she came back, and she
To
brought
your
him.
home while you were there?
Right. I went out to the bus station to pick her up, and we met this guy, and he was panhandling, and she decided to bring him home and
He met
mess
the
around
guy.
with him. Yeah, but you just still decided to mess around. It was just
So she
wrong.
brought him, you saying your wife, Miss Quinn, brought him to your home and they were having an affair in your home while you're there?
I don't know what happened because she kicked me out of the room and wouldn't let me come back in.
In your bedroom?
In the bedroom, yeah.
So you didn't see it for yourself, but you know
no,
what
I didn't
happened.
see it. She said she really
Miss
wanted.
Quinn, you invite this man into your bedroom and you ask your husband to leave?
Yes.
Okay, did you sleep with him?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have some problems. Seems like the only person you're not sleeping with is your husband.
My husband didn't want to sleep with me. He was too addicted to porn, and he got into the stockpile industry too as well. My husband spends 4 hours a day on porn, downloads
that's
porn.
also a lie.
He
That's
did
such a
porn
lie.
in front of me. He's ignored me and pushed me away. I felt I had no choice. And
So you decide you're gonna one up him. You say, hold my beer.
She's cheating
and
on me.
his stockpiling, that would drive anybody
lot.
crazy.
Why do you keep referring to stockpiling? What are you referring to?
Oh, okay, so he's a prepper. I've submitted evidence. Okay, if you look in the apartment, there's a bunch of boxes all stored up on the wall, all over the place. There's taken over the living room.
not true.
He spends his time on YouTube or all these different sites. Here you go. This is all he's doing all day long. I mean, this is Steve's whole world is this stuff right here.
What are you collecting, sir?
I'm in emergency preparedness and survival because I'm aware of some things going on in the world, and most people aren't all aware of them.
You gonna enlighten us today?
And that would mean, like, let's say the civil unrest that we encountered with the pandemic. Well, I'm aware that one of these days the economy is going to collapse, and you're going to see civil unrest like you've never even seen before.
So you have
It'll
gotten
make-
some extra cases of water.
Oh yeah,
to prepare.
water, food. You want supplies. If you have to evacuate, you want to have supplies, but you want to have the knowledge and
But
the
the thing
skills
is,
to do it.
He's scaring people away with all these theories. They don't have anything too much against him, but this is all he's talking about 24/7, and he lives rent-free too.
I rent free because I'm on disability.
What do you mean rent-free? The two of you live together.
Yeah,
as
I know,
husband
but
and wife. Somehow, 17
he's never
years
paid
later.
rent. He's never paid $1 in rent. I've had to pay the whole rent the whole time. I mean, he's been on easy streak for a very, very long time and stuff. So
I get a few $100
you know,
a month
he
on
doesn't really have much
disability.
to complain about. You know, he doesn't contribute to a lot
I
of
think
things.
he has quite a few things to complain
Yeah, a
about,
number
Miss
of things.
Quinn.
I have a few. I
Based
only
on
get-
everything I've heard today. Miss Quinn, who is the witness you brought to court today?
And my new boyfriend is Charlie Smoot.
How long have the two of you been in a
I don't know, maybe
relationship?
like a year.
It's been
give
a
or
year.
take. You know, we started out all as friends, and then his wife got sick and died, and you know, after that, then that's when we got together.
I'm sorry to hear that about your former wife, Mr. Smoot. I just want to make sure I'm clear. All of you were friends?
Yes.
Why does this not surprise me about you, Miss Quinn?
Because it seems like a pattern, but when you're in the situation that I'm in, it's just, you know, I've never gotten used to being in this situation with him, and it is what it is.
All the stuff she's describing of me, most of it's lies and exaggerations. She even said one time she would not take my money or spend it on anything without telling me. And then she took my disability benefits and she started using it to support him and herself without my permission and forcing it. And if I didn't do what she says, she threatened me. And she's
Threaten you
always-
how?
She's always threatened to throw me out.
Did you take any of the benefits that he receives and use them for you and your new boyfriend?
So I would use his benefits because I was paying the man's rent and has paid the man's rent up till February of this year. So in compensation for me paying his rent when he could have taken care of himself, okay, I use the benefits how I felt I need them.
But that ain't right. That ain't right, because
It's not right for you to be leaving off of me for 17 years.
Right, and now you're sponging off me.
17 and a half years, the man lived
And you're
off me.
sponging off of me, and I'm on welfare disability.
Rent-free.
And I'm on
You know,
disability.
when you're in a marriage, you're talking about you've been married for 17 years.
17 and a half years, yes.
There are layers to this. You have disassociated yourself with him as your husband. The two of you obviously have had issues with the verbal assaults against each other. And you look at and refer to your husband as a tenant for the entire duration of your marriage. You say he has not paid rent. You're not talking about the last 5 years when things really blew up between the two of you, but this entire time. So this is where you are, and I understand why you've ended up here today. You've moved on. So, and it's clear that somehow, though, there's been this codependency that's been keeping you two legally married when in every other way you checked out of the marriage. In terms of the divorce, I find that there are grounds for dissolution of the marriage.
Definitely.
It's been 17 years. You all have created a living space together. And in your marital home where the two of you have been living, has she moved out already?
Oh, yeah, she moved out. Yeah, back in February.
Okay, and do you have divorce papers? Have you drawn up the papers?
Yeah, we did, yes.
Mr. Quinn, did you bring those papers with you to court today?
Yes, Your Honor, and I gave them to the bailiff.
Okay, Juan, would you bring the papers?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to interject on something.
What is it, Mr. Quinn?
Okay, of all the things she's been accusing me of, she would do all kinds of things to anger me and get me rightfully upset, and then turn around, play the victim, project all the things on me that she just did to me, and then act like she did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She's lying, and she's not being honest. She's not being fair, nor kind. You know, in most marriages, when a person usually says, I love you once in a while, or maybe a kiss goodnight, kiss hello, kiss goodbye, that never happened in our entire relationship, ever.
And yet, for 17 years, the two of you have been in this marriage.
Yeah, I've been.
And it's turned toxic. Because not only you say there's no love, there's no intimacy, but you've also turned on each other.
Yeah.
And it's been, unfortunately, a race to the bottom. Juan, would you hand those papers to Miss Quinn?
Got it.
All I ever do is tell her to stop, and she just,
Mr. Quinn,
yeah.
Miss Quinn, you've been served with the papers.
Okay.
I want you to take time after court today to review them. It's obvious that you have moved on several times during the course of the marriage. It's time legally that the two of you have a clean ending to what's been going on
I agree.
the last 17 years. Most of it hasn't been a marriage. It's been the two of you coexisting
Exactly.
in the same environment and in the same world.
Because just helping each other survive. It's been hard.
Mr. Quinn, I feel that you are hurt and you have some despair over what's happened the last several years. I hope that you're able to heal emotionally
Yeah, I hope so too.
and move on
Yeah.
and have some kind of healthy relationship and learn what that looks like,
Oh, definitely.
because it's been a long time that you haven't been in a healthy relationship. And so you've been served, ma'am.
Yes.
I wish the two of you well. Good luck.
Thank you.